بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعنده مفاتح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو ويعلم ما في البر والبحر وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. Alhamdulillah, we're translating ayah 59 of Surah Al-An'am. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, with Him are the keys, treasures of the unseen. No one knows them except Him, and He knows what is in the land and sea. Not even a leaf falls without His knowledge, nor a grain in the darknesses of the earth, or anything fresh or dry, but is in a perfect record. وعنده, and with Him, meaning He has Mafatihu, the keys, and we'll look at this word more in depth. Al-Ghaybi, the unseen. La ya'lamuha, none knows them, illa, except huwa, He, which is Allah, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa ya'lamu, and He knows ma, whatever, fil barri, is in the land, wal bahr, and the sea. Wama, and not taskutu, sakata means to fall, taskutu falls, min waraqatin. Waraqa is a singular from a leaf, so every single leaf that falls, illa, except ya'lamuha, He knows it. Wala, nor habba, there is a grain, right? Habba is a grain, like the smallest. It's also used for like a grain or a seed. Fi, in dhulumatil ard, the darknesses of the earth. Wala, nor ratbin, freshness, and this also refers to anything that is wet, right? So wet, freshness, it can be translated as both ways. Wala yabis, nor anything that is dry, illa, except fi, in kitabin, book, mubin, known. So in the previous ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to tell the disbelievers that I literally don't have anything that you're asking me to bring forth. Ma indi, ma tasta'jiluna bihi. I don't possess the power to bring the day of judgment, and I don't bring the power to give you whatever random demands that you have. So the question comes up, okay, if Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam doesn't have that, then who does? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers in this ayah, وَعِنْدَهُ, and with Him are the keys and the treasures of the unseen. Also in the previous ayat, through Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah established His oneness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly told Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in different ways to tell the disbelievers that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah. He is only one, He is unique, and He doesn't have any partners. And then in this ayah, Allah is now establishing His sifat, that Allah is not only unique in His in His being, but Allah is also unique in His attributes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins by saying, وَعِنْدَهُ, and with Him are the keys and the treasures of the unseen. Now, this indahu was expected to come at this point. Mafatihul ghaybi indahu, that's what should have been, but instead the indahu is mentioned right in the beginning, and this gives the meaning of being only for Allah Ta'ala. What Allah is saying is that the keys and the treasures of the unseen are only with Allah and nobody else, subhanallah. Mafatih, this is also a very interesting word, because mafatih can be the plural of either maftah, right, mim fa, ta ha, and then there's a fatah on the mim, maftah, or it can be the plural of miftah, with a kasra on mim and then alif after ta. Now, if it's the plural of maftah, maftah actually is the place of fatah. Fatah means an opening. Fatah is also used for help and victory. And so maftah is the place of help, is the place of victory. And so if you take that meaning, that Allah Ta'ala is basically saying that treasures of the unseen, because maftah is the place of victory, it's the place of opening, and that refers to treasures. So the treasures of the unseen are only with Allah Ta'ala. And if you take miftah, miftah is the tool of fatah, it's the tool of opening, and that is why miftah is the key, because you use the key to open up something. And so in that case, the meaning would be that the keys of the unseen are only with Allah Ta'ala. Now, whether you take treasures or you take keys, they all go back to the same idea, that all of the power and the help, the victory, and these treasures, they all belong to Allah Ta'ala alone, because the key is the means by which you open up the treasures that people are exposed to. And it's fascinating because, imagine like a treasure trove, like a treasure box. with all the gold and all the valuable items in them. The reason why they're kept in the box is because people don't want others to see it. They don't want that thing to come in front of other people. So it's hidden. And that is exactly the meaning of ghaib, because ghaib also has the meaning of being hidden. I mean, ghaib is literally what that which is hidden, subhanAllah. And so just like the treasures are hidden, the knowledge of the unseen is also hidden. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala follows it up by saying, لا يعلمها إلا هو. Nobody knows them except Him. Allah alone knows the unseen. And then, just like you open up the treasure, so whenever you want something valuable from that box, what do? You open it up, and then you take out all those things that are needed from there. And that is exactly what happens with the knowledge of the unseen, that Allah Ta'ala gives a portion of that to His slaves from whom He chooses, and those are the prophets and the messengers. So Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ. We have looked at this word ghaib before as well, and I mentioned previously that although there are many words in Arabic language that start with ghain, they also have the meaning of being hidden. So such as ghar. Ghar is a cave, because when a person goes in the cave, they are hidden from others. Ghubar is dust, because when there is dust, and imagine like there's a lot of dust, people are hidden behind it, nobody can see through. You also have words like ghabi. Ghabi is somebody who is not super intelligent, right? Meaning their intellect is hidden. So mafatihul ghaib, ghaib refers to all kinds of unseen things. And so Allah Ta'ala is telling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and through him everyone else, that all the hidden things are only with Allah Ta'ala. And this includes the creation that is hidden. It includes jinns, it includes angels, and then also the matters that are hidden, whether it's about the future events, whether it's about the day of judgment, whether it's about the knowledge and the wisdom of Allah Ta'ala. Sometimes it's also hidden, and these are things that people are typically not something they can't really see. It's something that's hidden from the eyes. And this also removes the possibility of anyone else knowing anything of the unseen, and that is why Allah Ta'ala makes it very clear, لا يعلمها إلا هو. Nobody knows the unseen except Him. Now there is a question that arises that, okay, we understand about the messengers, but then even when it comes to normal human beings, we hear all the time people saying, oh, this person predicted the future, this person said that this war will take place. I mean, look at the geopolitical situation, and this is a political analyst, and he was like spot on about his predictions or her predictions. Or we say about weather forecast, that how can the meteorologists be so accurate about the weather? How can they say how much is going to rain, how much is going to snow, and what is the weather going to be like for the entire next week? Isn't that from the knowledge of the unseen? So the answer is that, remember, when Allah uses the word ghaib, it refers to those things that cannot be seen, and there is no means of accessing that knowledge. This is key, because a political analyst who is predicting the future of how the geopolitical situation is going to look like, they are basing it off of the analysis of data that is available at their disposal. They're looking at the situation and they're analyzing it, and based on that they come to certain conclusions. That's not ilm al-ghaib. That's just looking at data and then coming up with, okay, what are the possibilities that can happen in the future? So that's not ghaib. And then also when it comes to weather forecast, same thing. They're looking at past trends, then they're also looking at the weather situation, and they're predicting based on the positioning of the clouds, of the wind blowing, and all those things. And then based on that one, they make calculations. And so that is not ilm al-ghaib. That is completely different. Ilm al-ghaib is knowledge that is hidden, and there's absolutely no means of accessing it. And that is not the case with anyone else other than Allah Ta'ala.